In a world where the pursuit of wealth has often been seen as the ultimate goal, quiet revolution is unfolding. Let's dive deep into why the middle class is turning its back on the traditional quest for more money. And trust me, the reasons are not what you might expect. The genuine substance of joy rests somewhere in the middle of the wide field of politics, economics, philosophy, and life. We don't understand why our society has chosen to eradicate that happiness. There are still 3 states in the Union that provide a sense of middle-class living: West Virginia, Puerto Rico, and Arkansas. Why? Since a minimum wage job here is the only one remaining that can pay the rent. We are fighting for work and drowning in debt everywhere else in America. Mortgage interest rates are always rising. Interest rates on auto loans are always rising. Interest rates on savings are unchanged. This is where the middle class is forced into poverty. Following World War II, America had an incredible increase in population. 78 million infants were born in just 20 years. As a result, the US population increased by an astounding 40%, and the global population increased by a noteworthy 30%. Why is this relevant? This is due to the fact that it would result in overcrowding of workers. Imagine a situation where your country is filled with a lot of young people in their 20s and 30s. The world will start seeing them as a productivity machine. Since the 1970s, American wages have stagnated, dashed hopes for a prosperous economy that benefits all. The skyrocketing values of stocks and real estate caused peoples to accrue debt in their quest for the retirement of their dreams while incomes remained stagnant. Since 1970s, the middle class has been shrinking. The percentage of persons who reside in middle-class homes fell from 61% in 1971 to 50% in 2021, per Pew Research data. 2 major factors contributing to the middle class's decline are rising living expenses and stagnating earnings. But this contraction does not imply that middle-class people are becoming less and less numerous. Despite this, since 1971, the proportion of adults living in lower-income homes has risen from 25% to 29%. According to data from Pew Research, the proportion of persons living in upper-class homes has risen from 14% in 1971 to 21% in 2021. A fraction of American households will face financial hardships as the middle class continues to split, while another fraction will see improvements in their financial situation. As a result, the United States is quickly turning into a 2-class society. According to our thesis, there will be 2 classes in the US economy: the labor class and the leisure class. The Norwegian-American economist and sociologist Thorstein Veblen was among the first to characterize the features of the leisure class. Veblen is the one who came up with the term conspicuous consumption, so you may be familiar with his work. In his book, The Theory of the Leisure Class, he examined how social status, rather than usefulness or economic productivity, was the determining factor in the creation of the leisure class. Veblen lists the traits of the leisure class. Leisure classes will be involved in assembling assets and material belongings. Moreover, they will start acquiring intangible items, such as family crest and a top-notch education. Additionally, leisure classes are involved in the adoption of antiquated social norms, chivalry, manners and etiquette, and a code of conduct. If you're a person who belongs to the middle class, you might have experienced a lot of things changing. 2 or 3 decades back, we were busy working to build our empire, but now the middle class became the leisure class, who love to show off their possessions. However, according to Veblen, low-class occupations contribute more to economic productivity than do leisure-class occupations. It sounds a lot like the division of workers into essential and non-essential categories. Building on Veblen's research, our theory asserts that the person's economic class class is determined by their behaviors rather than only their level of wealth. In her Vox piece, America's Hollow Middle Class, Anne Helen Peterson describes the behavioral aspect of economic class. According to Peterson, the middle class is more of a habit or way of thinking than it is an economic category. There are a few key behaviors that distinguish the leisure class from the labor class. This is due to the fact that one's class is now determined by their wealth and time. Time is the means by which a person uses or distributes the 24 hours in a given day. Producers are the definition of the labor class. One behavior is to arrange one's life around one's job. The person prioritizes outputs, productivity, and following instructions. The majority of the person's time, more than 40 hours a week, is spent working for pay. For this person, there is a sharp line between work and play. What will that look like if we have complete control of our time? We will decide how to spend our time and will be experiencing the essence of time freedom. How can we reach that state? Do share your thoughts in the comments. There will be terrible repercussions if the middle class in the US disappears and the two-tier economy takes hold. There will be effects on the mind. As a society, we will have to deal with mental health issues resulting in dreams postponed, which cause pessimism, despair, and desperation. Additionally, death can serve as a doorway for new beginnings and chances. As the leisure class grows, the leisure economy will expand and offer new financial opportunities to members of the work and leisure classes. One expert argues that America now needs to earn $120,000 annually in order to qualify for home ownership and afford a typical middle-class lifestyle. Freddie Smith, an Orlando realtor and TikTok founder, told Fox News Digital, "I think most of us in America would describe the middle class as somebody who can work a 40 hours a week career and can have the income to purchase the average home in America." TikToker broke down the basic elements of leading a middle-class life in his films, which focuses on millennials and Gen Z's problems with purchasing a home and overall expense of living in the current economic environment. He continued, "Many of us are millennials who observed what the middle class looked like in the 1980s and 90s. Having grown up in a middle-class family, the housing market has also changed the rules more than anything else in recent years." According to the realtor, Smith described how a few years ago, a household's income of $60,000 to $70,000 would have been adequate to qualify for a house. Smith clarified that in order to even qualify, a person's annual salary would need to be approximately $120,000, given that the typical cost of a house in 2024 would be between $400,000 and $420,000. The realtor emphasizes how many people have been compelled to rent for extended periods due to the wage to housing disparity. Rent costs are eating up 30 to 40% of people's income, which makes it more difficult for them to accumulate home savings. Thus, he says, people are being prevented from entering the middle class by this never-ending cycle, adding that this trend has been accelerating over the past few years. Smith also described how even in the absence of children, a $120,000 paycheck drops significantly in light of the overwhelming debt that the majority of Americans already owe. The average monthly payment for a college degree in the nation is $500, and the majority of people have student loan debt that is an all-time high. He added, "In my comment area, I see some individuals writing things like $500. I wish it were $1,200 a month for me." America's credit card debt is also at an all-time high. Smith admits that careless spending may have contributed, but he has discovered from numerous Americans who have left comments that many have compelled to use their cards to pay for food because they have run out of money. The issue has created a profound sense of unease and uncertainty among the middle class by sitting at the core of the American dream's promise. We believe the middle class expects Washington to pay close attention to the specific issue and that they see a role for both the government and the private sector in finding a solution. Based on our research of economic trends and public opinion data. The brightest and boldest innovations will be leveraged to dramatically increase the numbers of middle-class jobs and support U.S. development, enhance the skills of individuals pursuing these opportunities, and actively endeavor to reduce the cost of the American dream through a systematic focus on a new middle-class compact. And there you have it, a deep dive into the shifting sands of the middle class's relationship with wealth creation. If you haven't already, please take a moment to subscribe to our channel and hit that like button. Your support helps us bring more content like this to you, diving deep into the topics that matter most. Don't forget to hit the bell icon so you never miss out on our next video.